Hello crafty friends, my name's Alicia, but you can call me Crafty Al. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I put together my first set of cards using the December 2025 SheetLoad of Cards. Welcome, or perhaps welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you're here today. Yesterday, I debuted the brand new SheetLoad of Cards for December 2025. This printable shows you how to make 6 A2 cards using just 3 pieces of 6x6 pattern paper and some cardstock. If you don't yet have the free printable, you can check out yesterday's debut video, which is linked in the description box below, to find out how to download it for free as long as you're subscribed to my channel. Today, I'll be putting together my first set of 6 cards and giving you some tips along the way. Also today, my creative team will be sharing their sets using the latest printable. As you hop along and see what everyone created, you're going to see how they each make it their own. I am always inspired after I hop along. Now, to find out what they've made, make sure to check out this month's playlist, which is linked in the description box below, and I'll also have it as an end card at the end of the video. I know that each of them would love for you to stop by, see what they created, and leave them some love. Before I get into the process, I do have a couple things to point out, and that is, once again, this month's PDF is 3 pages, with the final page having some subscriber and member bonuses. Now, if you don't yet know about channel membership, you can click on the join button below this video to find out more information. For member bonuses this month, for all my members, I have the Holiday Sentiments printable, which it coordinates with Teresa's one and done sentiment die from Not Too Shabby, and I'll tell you a little bit more about this during the process. And for die cut and paper trimmer level members, you will have access as well to the Oh Christmas Tree digital papers. You will see these in action on today's cards. Now, if you're a subscriber, I wanted to give you a little sampler. So you have a sentiment sampler here on the left. If you print this page on cardstock, you can either trim them with your trimmer, or if you have that one and done sentiments die, this will coordinate with that. Now, if you want more information on that product, make sure to scan this QR code or check out the affiliate link down in that description box below. I will be telling members during the process how they can gain access to this month's bonuses, so make sure to stick around. As I get into the process, I will tell you about any other products and tools that I use, but as always, if I ever leave you with any questions, feel free to leave those in that comment section below, and I'll get back to you just as soon as I can. Let's get crafty! I'm going to get started today by showing you how to cut your 3 pattern papers per the instructions. For my patterns today, I'm using this month's channel member bonus, the Oh Christmas Tree digital pattern papers. And if you are a die cut or paper trimmer level member and want access to these pages, make sure to check out the membership tab later today and look for an image like the one that's on the screen now. I do like to create my digital papers at just a little bit larger than 6x6. I make them 6 1/4 by 6 1/4, so you have a little bit of wiggle room when you need 6x6 paper. I'm going to start by cutting down each of these sheets to the crop marks so the image bleeds off the edge. If you follow the cutting guides, this month's sketch leaves you with no scraps from your pattern paper, and you would just start by cutting 2 columns, one at 2 1/4 inches and one at 3 3/4 inches. Now, because my paper is a little bit larger, I do have to make 2 cuts, and then you'll see at the very end it leaves me just a little sliver of that pattern paper left over. Next, you'll take those 2 columns of paper and cut them each into 2 pieces that are 3 inches tall. Again, if you're using standard 6x6 paper, you would just make 1 cut. The 2 larger pieces, pattern paper B/C, will eventually be cut at an angle, and on the very first page of the printable are some additional assembly suggestions, but I'll show you in just a little bit how we're going to cut those. While I cut the rest of the pattern papers in the same exact way, I wanted to take a minute to recognize some special channel members. In the month of November, I had some earn their 1-year membership badge. So I would like to say congratulations and thank you to the members whose names are scrolling up on screen now. Thank you all so very much for your continued support. If you're not yet a channel member and you would like to find out more about the perks of being one, you can click on the join button below this video or check out the link in the description box below. Membership starts as low as $1.99 a month, and that will get you access to probably the most favorite perk, and that is the visual archive. It is a one-stop shop with thumbnails and direct links to all SheetLoad of Cards editions. Next up to cut is CS1, and you will need 1 sheet of cardstock that we're going to cut into 6 pieces that are 2.5 inches wide by 3.25 inches tall. I am using watermelon cardstock from Tailored Expressions, and I start by cutting the columns first at 2.5 inches wide. Then I'm going to rotate each of those pieces to cut them down to their final height. Now do keep in mind you don't need to write down or remember any of these dimensions because you can visit yesterday's debut video to find out how to download the free printable. For the next cardstock, you'll need 1.5 sheets, and you want to cut until you get 6 total pieces that are 4 inches wide by 5.25 inches tall. So once again, I'm going to start by cutting the width. So I cut 2 strips from each piece that are 4 inches wide and then cut them down to the final height. For my cardstock 2 today, I am using from Tailored Expressions. Do keep in mind that any products you see me use on screen, you can always check out the description box below for links, and some of those are affiliate links, which means I make a small portion of that sale at no extra cost to you. I do always appreciate it when you consider and use those links. Next up is CS3, and you'll need pretty much a large scrap for this, and you can definitely switch this up if you're going to do something different with your sentiment. I won't be showing you how to cut this today because I'm actually going to be using one of this month's channel member bonuses, the Holiday Sentiments Printable. This coordinates with Not Too Shabby's One and Done Sentiments die, which you can find out more about that by scanning the QR code here or checking out the link in the description box below. Hey crafty friends, it is Editing Alicia here, and I wanted to stop by with a little update on the One and Done Sentiments die. Unfortunately, it did sell out overnight, but fortunately, if you go to the Not Too Shabby website, you can enter in your email address so you are notified when Jamie has those reordered and back in stock, because good news, she is going to restock them. The Holiday Sentiments bonus printable is 3 pages, and it has 11 different sets of holiday sentiments. These are the same sayings that you can find in the sentiment sampler at the very back of this month's printable, but instead of just having 1 of each sentiment, there are 11 of each. So if you want all of your cards to say one thing, this is going to be perfect for that. If you are a channel member and want access to this file, check out the membership tab later today and look for a graphic that looks like the one up on screen now. This will also be available on the monthly blog. For my cards today, I'm going to be using the Wishing You a Merry Christmas sentiment, so I printed out that single page on some lightweight white cardstock. So this fits through my die cutter but is still large enough for the die. I did trim that piece down a little bit. I will save the rest of those sentiments for projects later on this month. If you are a die cut or paper trimmer level channel member and you would like to possibly win this die, make sure to check out the November 2025 Channel Member Challenge, which was a mystery card, and this was one of 2 possible prizes you can enter to win. I'm not going to use mine right now, I'm just going to set this to the side and we'll cut the sentiments a little bit later. The final item you'll need to prepare for your cards are the card bases, and for this you'll need 6 A2 bases, so you're going to cut 3 sheets of cardstock and then fold it in half. Now while the sketch does call for a top fold, you could definitely have a side fold. That is up to you. For me, I'm using some off-white cardstock, and I'm going to trim each of those in half to 4 1/4 inches wide by 11 inches tall. I could definitely go ahead and just fold those in half by hand, but I do like to go ahead and use a scoring tool to get a nice crisp fold. Before I move on to assembly, I wanted to stop by and tell you about a special series on my channel this month. I am going live each day from the 1st through the 24th for Crafty Advent Live 2025. Over the course of this interactive Crafty series, I will be opening up 8 Advent calendars and creating a new tag each day, which will be given away to a live viewer. There will also be grand prizes at the end of Advent calendars. Make sure to check out the kickoff video, which I do have linked in the description box below. It is going to give you all of the details about this series, including how you can collect secret words to win some of those prizes. And then you can join me later today on December 2nd at 2:00 p.m. Central for the Day 2 live stream. Now, speaking of secret words that you have to collect, because you are watching and listening to this video carefully, I have a bonus secret word for you. Remember, these are secret, so don't give it away in the chat or the comments. This bonus secret word is going to be process. Process. I'm going to get started with assembly by putting the pattern paper A pieces onto their CS1 cardstock mats. Once you have your adhesive on the back of the pattern paper, you'll just want to center this, and there should be about a nice 1/8 inch border all the way around. Once those were all adhered together, I brought back in the larger pieces of pattern paper, and now we're going to make those cuts at an angle following the assembly suggestion on page 1 of this month's printable. What I'm going to do now is pair up the papers that will go together so the card fronts have one piece of each of the patterns. So for the first 2 cards, I'm going to pick the dots and the stripes and put that with the center piece that has the cute little topiary Christmas trees. The next 2 cards will have the topiary Christmas trees and the stripes in the background, and the center pieces are the colorful dots. And then finally, for the 3rd set, the 5th and 6th card, it will be the dots and topiary trees background with the striped centers. Now it's time to get the angle cut put in the larger pieces of pattern paper. I do have some suggested dimensions on the printable if you want to follow that, but you can definitely make this part your own and even cut these directly in diagonals if you want. When you cut these, you're going to want to stack the 2 pieces together because we will be mixing and matching these later, so you want to make sure they have the same angle. To cut the angle on my pieces, I am using the lines on my trimmer. To the left of the cut line, I'm using the 1 inch mark, and to the right of the cut line, I'm using the 1.5 inch mark. Again, you can make this your own and do whatever angle that you would like. Once that is cut, like I mentioned, you're going to mix and match these. That way the card fronts look just a little bit different and you get to see all of those patterns. While I cut the other sets, I would like to know, what is your plan for your angle? Are you going to measure and cut? Are you going to cut a straight diagonal? Are you going to eyeball it? Let me know down in that comment section below. Maybe I'll get some more ideas from you to use in future sets. Now it's time to add the angled pieces to the CS2 cardstock mat. One piece will go at the top and one at the bottom, and I brought in a couple helpers to put mine together. That is my magnetic glass board from Glassboard Studio and the A7 Cardmaker's T-Square from Pear Blossom Press. This ruler has a 1/4 and 1/8 inch jig, and the border around the outside of those angled pieces is 1/8 of an inch, so this is a super easy way for me to get a nice even border all the way around. I have showed this technique a lot lately in my videos, so I didn't slow it down too much. If you do want to check out these products, again, check out that description box below for affiliate links. For the next card front, I'm going to show you that if you don't have these helper tools, that is completely fine as well. You can add your adhesive to the back of each of your angled pieces and then just eyeball it to get that 1/8 of an inch border on the outside edges. Once those are both done, you'll see that they pretty much look the same. Now, I do like a helper tool, so for the remaining card fronts of mine, I did go ahead and use the ruler and the glass board to help me put these together. Let me know in the comment section below if you have these handy helpers. While I still have these helpers out and handy, I'm going to go ahead and add those cardstock pieces to my card fronts. This also has that same 1/8 inch border, so now instead of putting pattern paper onto cardstock, I'm going to do my matted pattern papers onto the card base. You will want to make sure when you put this on that you do pay attention to where the fold of the card is. Once those are both together, you can now add your little center pattern paper strip, and because the sentiment will go on the bottom underneath it, you'll want to put this a little bit above center. So you'll see here I have an even border on the top, left, and right, and there's a little bit more space down there at the bottom. While I'm just using tape runner and making everything flat so far, you could definitely pop this piece up if you want your cards to have a little more dimension. Again, SheetLoad is a great jumping off point for you to make these cards your own. For the rest of my cards, I used more of an assembly line process. I added all of my large cardstock pieces to the card bases, and then when those were all done, I added the centers to each of the cards. And here's a look at all of those put together. And now all these need are sentiments. For this, I brought back in my sentiment printable that I cut down earlier and that coordinating die. Now I'm going to hold this temporarily in place with some Scotch removable tape, but before I add that and send it through my die cutter, I did take some time and try to get each of those sentiments centered within the opening on the die. Now, once that is ran through the die cutter, I have 11 holiday sentiments all ready to go. I especially love on this die the little stitching details around the outside edge. Off camera, I added some strips of foam tape to the back of 6 of the sentiments, and the 5 that I don't need for today's cards, I will just hang on to those for another time. When you go to add your sentiment, this is definitely a great time to make these cards your own. You can move the sentiment up or down, you can rotate the card. Do whatever looks best with your pattern papers and the decorations that you're going to be using. For my cards, I went ahead and stuck pretty close to what the sketch shows. I did finish the rest of these off camera, and then to add a little bit of sparkle to the front of the card, I added some red gems. Now on the cards that had just the striped green pattern paper in the center, I wanted to add a little more color there, so I got out a leaf die from my stash and added a couple. And here are some close-up looks at the finished cards. I hope you enjoyed seeing how I put together my first set of cards using the December 2025 SheetLoad of Cards and got a couple tips and maybe some ideas to make them your own along the way. If you did, as always, a thumbs up is appreciated. Now don't forget to go see what the creative team made by using the link in the description box or the end card here in just a minute. Until my next video, I hope you're all having a crafty day. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch all the way to the end of the video. I hope now you'll consider clicking on one of the videos or playlists I have linked above. And if you are interested in any of the products or tools I used in today's video, I do have some links in the description box below.